What does it really take to turn a national company into a global giant and do it while staying, ethical and humble?
It's a huge question, isn't it?
It is. And we're going to explore that today through the life and leadership of Ratan Tata. He's a business icon whose journey, honestly, offers some incredibly compelling insights.
Yeah, his story is so much more than just corporate strategy.
Hmm.
Ratan Tata's whole approach to leadership, to innovation,
Mm.
has left a massive mark
Definitely. Not just on industry, but
on society itself.
yeah,
It really is a blueprint for doing business with purpose. Worth a closer look, for sure.
absolutely. So for this deep dive, we've gathered quite a bit: articles, research papers, even some personal accounts from people who knew him.
A good mix.
Right. And our mission is pretty clear: unpack his unique leadership style, understand what drove his biggest projects, and pull out the lessons he left behind.
Lessons for business, society.
And for you, listening in as you navigate your own path.
Because it's not just about corporate wins, is it? It's a story of, well, bold innovation, really strong ethical leadership.
And that global ambition, even when things got tough.
Exactly. Spotting a real need and having the guts, the conviction to try and meet it.
That conviction, that brings us right to our first big topic: Ratan Tata's ambitious nano dream.
The Nano.
Yeah. And this, in many ways, it started as something deeply personal for him. He kept seeing Indian families sort of precariously.
Sandwiched on scooters, yeah. I remember reading that.
Exactly. Especially on wet, slippery roads, just dangerous. And he was determined, really determined, to find a safer, affordable way for them.
It's a powerful starting point. And him being an architect, he started sketching ideas himself.
He did. Started with safer two-wheelers, then it sort of evolved into maybe a basic dune buggy,
Right.
and eventually a proper four-wheeled car. His own words were clear: the Nano was always meant for all our people.
A truly noble, empathetic inspiration behind it all.
And the launch, March 2009, it was a massive deal. Locally, people called it the Lactakia car.
Meaning about 1 lakh rupees.
Yeah. Yeah, roughly 1 lakh rupees, which was what, maybe $1,200 US back then? The buzz was huge.
Positioned as the safe, affordable car for the middle class. A potential game changer for mobility, for safety.
But, well, despite all that vision, all the fanfare, the Nano hit some serious headwinds pretty quickly.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you remember the factory protests in Singapore, West Bengal?
Yes, that forced them to move the whole operation. Costly, time-consuming.
Right. Shifted to Sanand in Gujarat in 2008, before they even really got going.
And that wasn't the only problem. There were those scattered reports about fires, some safety concerns.
Which really didn't help public trust, did it?
Not at all. But what's fascinating, maybe the biggest hurdle, wasn't even mechanical, it was perception.
Ah, yes, the branding. It got stuck with that label.
Mm.
The poor man's car.
Exactly. And Ratan Tata himself admitted later it was a big mistake. He called it unfortunate.
He felt it should have been positioned differently.
Yeah, he said it should have been about being affordable, safe, and all-weather option for scooter owners, not just the cheapest.
It's amazing, isn't it? Even a leader with his vision could miss such a key marketing point. What does that tell you?
Well, it's a humbling lesson, I think. Identifying a need is one thing.
But how you frame it, the message it sends about status aspiration, that can make or break it.
And that perception, it really doomed the Nano. The very people it was meant for, middle-class Indians, many stayed away.
Leading to production eventually stopping around 2019. Such a shame, given the initial idea.
It is. So, from the Nano's domestic focus, let's zoom out a bit. Let's talk about Ratan Tata's wider global vision for the whole Tata Group.
Right, stretching way beyond India.
He had that famous quote about it, didn't he? I hope that 100 years from now, we will spread our wings far beyond India.
That we become a global group. An Indian business conglomerate that is at home in the world, carrying the same sense of trust.
It really sums up that ambition.
It does. And his first big global move was Tetley, the tea company, back in 2000.
That was audacious, wasn't it? Tetley was, what, twice the size of Tata Tea at the time?
Exactly. A huge gamble. But it instantly put the Tata brand on the world stage. Turned Tata Tea into Tata Global Beverages, which is now Tata Consumer Products.
And it showed his persistence, too, because it wasn't his first try, right?
No. He tried back in '95, failed. But when the chance came again in 2000, he grabbed it. Calculated risk, strategic patience.
Then there's the Jaguar-Land Rover story, the JLR deal in 2008. That one's almost like a movie plot.
It really is. The irony is incredible. Remember, back in 1999, Tata Motors actually went to Ford trying to sell their own car business, the Indica.
Right, which was struggling then.
And Ford officials apparently were quite dismissive, questioned why Tata even got into cars, said they'd be doing him a favor by buying it.
Talk about humiliating.
Totally. But then fast forward less than 10 years.
And Tata Motors buys Jaguar and Land Rover from Ford.
Exactly. And Bill Ford himself thanked Ratan Tata, said Tata was doing them a big favor by buying JLR.
The turnaround is just... wow. Poetic justice. It's an amazing story of resilience. It didn't just get Tata Motors into the luxury market. It changed how the world saw Indian companies.
But there was pushback, wasn't there? Some hostility.
Oh, yeah. A British paper said Tata should pray. A U.S. Jaguar exec apparently mocked the idea of an Indian company owning Jaguar, calling India a nation of bicyclists.
Wow.
But Ratan Tata's response was perfect. He called the acquisitions a bit of the empire striking back, captured the spirit perfectly.
And we can't forget Corus Steel in 2007, another massive one.
Huge, acquiring an Anglo-Dutch steelmaker 4 times Tata Steel's size, made Tata the world's 5th largest steel producer overnight.
Even though they paid a big premium for it, $12 billion, I think, and took on debt.
Yes, it was financially challenging initially. Share price dipped, but the strategy was about synergy, not tonnage, access to Europe.
Right, so these moves, Tetley, JLR, Corus,
Yeah.
they collectively transformed Tata from mainly India-focused
To a proper global player, presence in over 100 countries.
So for you listening, these stories really show that calculated risk-taking, that transformative leadership, daring to think big, even against the odds.
Definitely. And that leads us nicely into, well, the heart of his leadership, you could say, his commitment to ethics, empathy, philanthropy.
His style is often described as charismatic and transformative.
Right. Charisma being that divinely inspired gift, that determination.
But it wasn't just personality, was it? It was rooted in core beliefs, prioritizing ethics over profit.
Absolutely. Madhya Kila put it well. In a country often perceived as corrupt, the Tata Group demonstrates that it is possible to build a successful ethical business empire.
That's a powerful testament.
It is, and he genuinely saw people as the core asset, making employees feel worthy, the code of conduct, calling TCS folks associates.
Fostering partnership, yeah. And his focus on diversity and inclusion, that was quite ahead of its time, wasn't it?
It really was. Equal opportunities for LGBTQ plus employees, pushing for more women, 7% in Tata Steel, 35% in TCS. Those were high numbers then.
And then there's the philanthropy, just immense.
A cornerstone, really. Education first, the J.N. Tata Endowment, huge grants to Cornell, Harvard Business School, IIT Bombay, MIT.
Millions and millions dedicated to education.
And healthcare, too. Maternal and child health, mental health, cancer, the Tata Medical Center in Kolkata Alzheimer's research.
It feels like it was deeply personal for him, not just corporate social responsibility.
I think so. Plus rural development, the Transforming Rural India Initiative, and disaster relief.
Right. His response after the 2008 Mumbai attacks, setting up the Taj Trust for victims.
And the huge donation during the COVID pandemic, 500 crores, about $60 million. Very swift, very significant.
And it wasn't just big institutions. He personally backed startups too, didn't he?
He did. Snapdeal, Ola Cabs, Xiaomi, even smaller ones like Dogspot and Estaway, believed in new talent, new ideas.
So the takeaway here is clear. His impact went way beyond the balance sheet, driven by empathy, by this real commitment to giving back.
Exactly. Which brings us to the man himself, beyond the boardroom, his personal life, his philosophy.
And his journey started with some challenges, right? Parent separation, feeling a bit like an outsider at school.
Yeah, parents separated when he was 10. He mentioned feeling conspicuous and outclassed. Those things shape you.
And that story about his first job shoveling coal at Telco?
Right. Quite a contrast to his background. He said it taught him humility. It shows character, doesn't it? Facing the grind.
It does. And despite being seen as quite reclusive, media shy,
He had a playful side. Those stories about kicking shoes under the table and long meetings.
just to liven things up. And his famous love for dogs.
So legendary.
Oh.
The room for strays at Tata House. That's how he connected with his assistant, Shantanu Naidu, wasn't it?
Yeah, through Naidu's startup, Motopaws, making reflective collars for street dogs. A lovely connection.
It is. His approach to succession was also very telling.
How so?
While his half-brother Noel Tata was seen by some as the obvious choice, the traditional pick.
Right, keep it in the family or community.
But Ratan Tata pushed back. He prioritized talent and values above everything, lineage, community, even nationality. He explicitly said he'd consider foreigners.
Wow, that's a strong commitment to meritocracy over tradition.
Absolutely. And he left behind some powerful advice for leaders, too.
Like his emphasis on humility. Your success is going to be your humility, using that Nobel laureate example.
Exactly. And encouraging people to question the unquestioned, challenge the idea that this can't be done.
Pointing to Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Google, all starting from simple ideas and belief.
Right. And finally, that call to make a difference. Measure success not just by wealth, but by the satisfaction if you have made a difference.
That idea seems central to him, which brings us back to that quote from Thomas Matthew.
The one about him being a fierce capitalist who was driven, paradoxically, by the need to fulfill the goals of an implacable socialist heart.
Such a striking description. A fierce capitalist with a socialist heart. It sounds like a contradiction.
It does, but maybe it's the key, that tension.
Oh, you mean?
Well, maybe that internal push and pull is what made his leadership unique. He could be aggressive in business, make those tough global deals.
Like JLR or Chorus.
Exactly. But perhaps that socialist heart meant every decision was viewed through a lens of social responsibility, of impact beyond profit.
So, chasing growth, but growth with a purpose. Growth that lifts society.
Perhaps. It certainly gave the Tata Group's expansion a different feel, didn't it? Less purely extractive, maybe?
That's a really interesting way to frame it. So we've covered a lot today. The innovator behind the Nano,
The bold global acquirer,
the ethical leader focused on integrity and people,
and the dedicated philanthropist, a huge legacy.
and the numbers back it up. During his time, the Tata Group's top line grew, over 1,700% in dollar terms?
Astonishing numbers, outpacing even figures like Jack Welch at GE, driven by that unique blend of ambition and conscience.
Which leads us perfectly to our final thought for you, our listener. It comes from Ratan Tata himself. He often said, "I don't believe in taking the right decisions. I take decisions and then make them right."
Powerful words. So the question for you is, what impossible idea are you perhaps holding back on? Maybe because it hasn't been done or the path isn't clear.
How might embracing that Ratan Tata spirit, that conviction to decide, commit, and then make it right, how might that redefine your own path? Something to think about.